Hey, good morning, friends. Today is Thursday, September the 26th, 2024, and the time now is 7:41 a.m. So, I want to talk briefly about the recent assassination attempt of Donald Trump, which basically never come into fruition because Secret Service agent, okay, or a Secret Service agent spotted the gunman and opened fire at the gunman who basically fled the scene. Yes, he was later caught and then taken into custody. Now, what I want to talk about briefly as relating to this recent assassination attempt of Donald Trump regards the current state of American politics and domestic situation, as well as the current state of American security, what I think is at stake here. Therefore, I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community, and I want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Now, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel. Please share the link to this video, the links to the other videos, and the link to this channel. I want you to know, as of now, you're watching the trends and headlines in U.S. society and domestic politics. And this is episode 11. Once again, my friends, you are watching the playlist series, The Trends and Headlines in U.S. Society and Domestic Politics. And this is episode 11. Now, one thing that I find to be very interesting with this recent assassination attempt, which basically occurred within the past 2 weeks, is that similar to the first assassination attempt, the gunman was a Republican, registered Republican. He had voted for Donald Trump before, and then later in 2020, during the 2020 election season or year, he began to deviate, okay, or remove his support from Donald Trump and begin to criticize Donald Trump. Now, this man by the name of Ryan Roth or so, he is about 58 years old, and many things have come out in terms of his background, and it turns out that this guy had been very busy. Yes, he had published a book, okay, self-published. Yes, he had had so many felonies and misdemeanor charges or conviction against him. So he had been busy with the law enforcement system, in and out of the law enforcement system. And it turns out that this man, Ryan Roth, during the early days and weeks and months of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, he had traveled to Ukraine with the aim of participating in the war in Ukraine, participating in the International Legion. And it is said that this guy had even traveled to Afghanistan with the aim of recruiting fighters from Afghanistan, taking them to Ukraine to join the fight against Russia. But to that, my question is, with this being the case, why wasn't that the United States security apparatus apprehend this guy? Why is it that they never hold this guy accountable and begin to pay attention to him? Because obviously that activity propagate or it demonstrate threat. Look, the United States had been kicked out of Afghanistan, basically had a very embarrassing withdrawal from Afghanistan. And here it is that an American is going into Afghanistan trying to recruit foreign fighters, okay, Afghanistan fighters, to take them to Ukraine, to Europe, to fight against the Russian. As much as it would have been a threat and an embarrassment for Russia, it would have also been a security issue for Ukraine and for Europe. And it seems, perhaps, I believe that was the reason why he was refused by the Ukrainians. Now, it turns out that this man, 58 years old, Ryan Roth, has been very busy all over the place. Yes, it is said that he has spent the majority of his adult life in the state of North Carolina and had also moved to Hawaii, where he had been living. And it also turns out that even in Hawaii, he had had some run-ins with the law or the law enforcement apparatus. But then this begs the question, especially relating to gun rights or gun ownership. or access to guns in the United States. Obviously, the situation with Mr. Ryan Roth shows that he is a dangerous person. But then, if you bring the conversation to the public about gun control, there are many on the right, many Republicans or Trump supporters, and Donald Trump himself, who will basically squash the conversation or remove the conversation about gun control and gun right. Because these people do support strongly gun right or the proliferation, the production, the ownership or whatsoever of guns throughout the United States. But with guys such as Ryan Roth or even Matthew Kroc or the young man in Georgia who killed two of his peers and two teachers in the Appalachian High School, these people having access to guns, it continues to demonstrate how the United States, this is a dangerous thing. The United States, I do believe, whether we are talking about in terms of the state itself, the government, we are talking about the federal government, the state government, or the local government, needs to be very much concerned because the United States is not a secured country, at least. Yes, the FBI is strong. Yes, the police system is strong. But the questions that we need to ask is, one, how many Matthew Crocs, how many Ryan Roth, or the young man in Georgia, I don't remember his name right now, who shot at his school, how many of those are out there within or among the population of about 336 to 340 million Americans? Let's assume that there is a possibility of at least 1 million Ryan Ruff out there, 1 million Matthew Crooks out there, and then the other of the young man in Georgia who shot at his high school and killing two peers and two teachers. Then that is a dangerous thing. And perhaps the United States government, whether we are talking about federal government, state government, or the localities, are doing enough. Whether we are talking about curbing gun rights, okay, having strong gun control laws, or working in a way that they try to overhaul the system in the United States so that Americans' livelihood can be better and Americans can heal from whatever emotional, psychological, or mental issue going on in the minds and hearts, okay, of individual Americans or the various groups in the American society. That is something that needs to be considered because it shows that in the United States, the country is not as secure as many may think, especially when Americans are having the tendency to go out and kill this and kill that. Now, in terms of Donald Trump himself, yes, everyone must be grateful that he is alive because had he been killed, had Matthew Crocs succeeded or Ryan Ruff in this case succeeded, I do believe it would have or could have caused at least riot, mass riot, or civil unrest, okay, to an epic proportion in the United States. However, one thing that I find to be very distasteful is that Donald Trump himself continues to exacerbate the situation. Is that Donald Trump continues to blame the Democrats and people on the left for this recent assassination attempt and even the first assassination attempt, which in this case, I do believe create chaos, creates confusion, and it instills in the minds of many of his supporters that people on the left or Democrats are the enemies and that one should go out there and take action. And that is a dangerous thing for a politician, especially a politician who had served as the previous president of the United States and who is currently running for president of the United States. Because the rhetoric of Donald Trump demonstrate or create the possibility, I believe, of destabilization, internal domestic crisis. Now, my friends, I'm going to end here, but I want to thank you very much for being a member of the Echoing Voice community, and I want to thank you also a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace.